flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Town Clerk, will you establish the quorum? Council, in your packet, there's the minutes of the meeting of May the 4th. They were in your mail out. Had a chance to review them. What is your pleasure? If not, take a moment and read them over.
Addition.
We have to have a motion first and a
Before,
second.
okay. Do that.
Is there a motion from one of the other council members and a second so that we can put it on for discussion in addition?
A motion that we accept it.
Right.
I make a motion to accept it.
Motion set.
I wrote on it.
You can accept, you can still accept it. There's a second.
Okay, I accept.
Okay, there's a second. All right, now, having a motion and a second, now we can go in for discussion and additional correction.
The note that it would include the sound system that I was getting bids on, was not to get a better sound system, it was to add a digital recorder for our meetings. The sound system would remain the way it is now. We would just have a digital recorder for our use, for recording town hall meetings.
Right. And of course, the cameras.
Well, that's part of the security system, the cameras were. But the digital recorder would be just for that. It makes it, I didn't want it to sound like I was getting, better system or doing anything different. The system will remain as it is.
Okay, is that the only change?
That's the only one.
Any other changes? Let's first, we'll have a motion and to accept the change and a second, and we'll vote on that, and we'll go to the motion as it stands.
Motion to accept the change.
Okay, motion to accept change.
Second.
Second, all in favor, signify by raised hand. Unanimous. Voting on the original motion plus the change. If there are no other changes or additions or corrections, all in favor of acceptance, please signify by raised hand. Motion carries. In the order of business tonight, first is the second reading of the building code and construction code ordinance. This is just the second reading. We've had the first. Nothing has changed.
We did have a change. I added Article 8, which just repeals the previous ordinance.
Right, okay. What is your pleasure as to the acceptance of the second reading?
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept, is there a second?
A second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the acceptance of the second reading, please signify by raised hand. Unanimous. Now we will vote on that, by the way, was the acceptance and approval of the adoption. The next thing in your packet, the other item of business, is the alcohol transfer. Sharpsburg Takeout is simply having a license transfer. Nothing has changed other than that. The original, she never did enact the first part, but this is to change the wording. There was a change in household. Same lady will be running it, same thing, other than the fact that it will be totally in her name now rather than in a husband-wife combination. So a motion to accept or decline would be in order.
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept, second.
Second.
Any motion and second, is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of acceptance, please signify by raised hand. Unanimous. This is obviously going to be a very short meeting, I think, but at this point, we will ask for public comments and hold your comments to 3 minutes if you would, please. Ms. Laster? Ms. Laster? Polly?
The comments are prompted by a comment that Keith, Councilman Rhodes, made at the last meeting about the problems of the mayor and the money and this, that, and the other. And I asked for us to be on the agenda, and then I agreed to be on public comments, so I really don't know the difference, and I'm going to ask you later, after my time, about that. I'm getting ready to hand you a packet of information, and this information is what you referenced to me when you sent me the correspondence about the comment that I was made, and I asked for a correction of it, and that's my copy. Would you pass those down for me?
Was this my explanation to you?
No, that's not. This is my response to your explanation, but when you did your explanation, you made reference to the documents that I'm passing out, and they wouldn't have known, so I needed them to know what I was talking about. I got a copy for you, Donna.
Oh, great, thank you.
The comments I'm gonna make. First, designating the mayor a strong mayor is not the problem. The problem, it arises when the mayor presumes or chooses to assume more authority in the fiscal area than is designated in the charter or is made reference to in the CMA documents. And that's what you all have got in your hands, the documents. The charter and the CMA reference that the mayor made for me. What's more disturbing to me than the fact that this is happening is that the council members are allowing this to happen. And by the way, the strong mayor, weak mayor, is not a legal thing. It's not a charter thing. It's a designation of the GMA. Correct. If you read the underlined sections of that sheet that I've given you, you'll go see what I'm talking about. On the first page, where it says a council, the strong mayor, which all this existed we have, it says the form provides a distinguishable separation of powers between the city's executive branch, which is the mayor, and the legislative branch, which is the council. And then to further explain that, it says the executive branch, the mayor, is equal to the president or the governor, and the council is like the Senate and the legislature. And as you very well know, those are very separate areas of the government. That's the first place that I make reference to the fact that the city council is the legislative branch, and it's stated on the page further over that they have the fiscal responsibility, not the executive responsibility. And I put the fiscal definitions on the back page, and you all know fiscal means money and financial. The council has a responsibility for making the fiscal, financial decisions, not me. Now, in your ordinance somewhere, there probably is something that says you can spend a certain amount of money without getting council approval. I'm sure there probably is. But I don't think it's $10,000. Over on the next page, on page 4, and I've got them all numbered for you. Page 4, down at the bottom, it says duties of the council members. I've got a little arrow pointing so you can clearly see the physical operation of the city, which is the money operation of the city, is a council members' responsibility. On page 3, I've got a page that shows you what the designation of the week in strong council is. In your charter, on page 6 of the documents I handed you, section 2-20, which is what the mayor referred to, nothing at all is said about that in the duties of the mayor that in any way, shape, or form refers to physical or financial matters. Anyway, in all of this that you see, the mayor mentioned with money, it says, it says recommends. It's on the next page, on page 7. It says that the mayor recommends, and number E, and down further under number H, he said recommends again. It says nowhere that they go, that executive branch has the authority to go ahead and start spending money. On page 8, it again mentions the mayor's responsibilities. The executive and administrative says nothing about fiscal or legislative. Now, this is your town charter. The other came from your GMA handbook, and both of these were referenced to me in the answer that I got about it. And I promised you no questions, but I do want to ask, what's the difference between being on the agenda and public comments?
So my question is, probably, let me reference what you've done here. I think what you pretty well said is exactly in a roundabout way what I gave to you, but we need to talk about it so we can sit down and get it straight in both our minds, not here in an open meeting. Is that okay?
No.
I think we should get it square in all of our
We're not in
minds.
an open meeting. Okay, first off, the straw man is no question. I don't question that at all, never.
All right, before I answered your question,
Can we do some research on this before we address it? We'll
Right.
address it at the next meeting.
we'll address it.
Can it
next
be on
meeting.
the agenda then, next meeting?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
We will discuss it. Now, I did call the attorney before I gave you an answer as to the amount of money that was eligible to be spent by the mayor. And I gave you that answer. So having said that, we'll bring it back up, we'll do the research, and if you'd like to talk to us about it in the meantime, we'll do that, and we'll bring it up as an agenda item next.
May I
Maybe
respond
we
to
should
that?
have the attorney present at the next meeting.
Maybe I can
since we're
respond to
gonna talk
that,
about
because
this.
the mayor doesn't make the rules. Your charter and your ordinances in the state of Georgia makes the rules.
That's what I've stated to you, yes, what the duties were and what they're required. So, good.
Did you have another sheet?
Oh, I got one for you, yes.
Further with public comments, public comments?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Paul and I should have gotten on the same page. We're on the same page.
Oh, we got it.
Make it small.
Donna, you gonna have to share.
Make it
This
small.
this is, you can, yeah, any of those?
I zoomed it in.
I got one more I can give you after. All right, I'm speaking the same thing here, strong mayor versus weak mayor and all that, and I just pulled up some stuff on the internet, and everybody knows the internet, everything's on there is true, right? So, but anyway, this, strong mayor says mayor may appoint or remove departmental heads, under a strong mayor. That's actually not, that's in the charter where it is a part of the council and the mayor, okay? And I'm just jumping right into this. The mayor possesses line item veto power under strong mayor. That's not in the charter, Sharpsburg. And then the mayor is not a member of city council. That's the first order of business under the council, that the mayor is part of the council and the council, rules together. So my thing is, look, we all got to be on the same page. We can't be speaking half truths and and not really knowing what we're talking about. Just like Ms. Polly said, that the money issue I mean, I said in the meeting last time that this would have been a budget item. If there's $10,000 there to spend it at anybody's discretion or the mayor's discretion, that's a budget item. And in fact, on the last page of your printout that I gave you, there's a $5,000 discretionary fund, but it still, within the charter, does not give any rights to the mayor just to spend willy-nilly. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, it says the council and the mayor will act on things together and run the town together. So I don't know, I really don't like the comments that are made that are incorrect. It's just wrong to do that to the public, to the taxpayers. It's wrong, it's rude, it's just not right. Okay. Also, not being able to be on the agenda. Do you not want public participation? Is the public just here for whatever entertainment? I mean, the public's here, and you're here because the public's here. So the public participation should be allowed. I don't understand how that does not enter into the political process here. It's mind-boggling. Also, I emailed Donna, is the 1978 charter, is that correct? Is that the last update of?
I think it is, but I haven't had a chance to look at it.
Okay, so everything in there then is highlighted and outlined and should be, I mean, I'm referencing your charter, so I hope I'm not speaking untruthfully here. Last thing I just noticed, on this building and construction code, would this not be something that has to go back to a first reading if there's an Article 8 that's been added?
No.
Why not?
That was his comment, not question and answer.
It's just comment.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would think that if you add something to an article, it should actually have to go back through a public hearing and then a first reading. That's just the way I see the rules and the laws and the ordinances, but if I'm incorrect, I would like to know where that is stated, that that's not. So, thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bridges, and I'll tell you the same thing I told Ms. Polly when she was up, that if you would like to come in and discuss these things, we'd be glad to do that, so it would take up a whole lot less time at a meeting. So
This is where it should be.
Poll of council, starting on the end,
No one has contacted me.
nobody's contacted you with any problems that's going on in the town?
No.
Ms. Celine?
None.
No.
No. Close comments, none? I don't have a whole lot of comments. I did check today to see if one of the comments that I had made at the previous meeting had been handled, and I found out that it had not been handled. Celine, I'll pass that on to you if you would on Sunset. I'm going to, we will write a registered letter to the owner of that property, since it didn't do any good to go to the tenant. And if you would watch that as you go around Sunset,
What am I looking for?
for that tractor and that truck that's parked down on the end of Sunset, across from 100.
Mm-hmm.
I went by there to see if they had done what they said they were going to do, and they did not. So we have to further handle it, but kind of watch that for us if you would.
Okay.
Anything else needs to come before council tonight? And thank you for our guest, I appreciate it. And hearing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Motion.
So moved.